Bueno, vamos a pasar ahora al día número 2, ¿ok? El día número 2, ¿ok? Y vamos a ver algunos verbos como gustar, gustar y otros verbos, okay? But first, before we look at this, I would like to go back and try to explain a little bit how gustar works, because there's a lot of misunderstanding about how gustar works. Again, I hear a lot of different variations of expressions that we use to express likes and dislikes, and that don't make sense, okay? So gustar y otros verbos similares. So there are two ingredients basically that we need to construct a correct sentence to express what we like or we do not like. Okay, the verb gustar and the indirect object pronouns that we just reviewed yesterday. Okay, so a general misunderstanding of gustar is that we tend to say that that me gusta means I like. And that is not the case. Me gusta means I like in meaning, in what we want to communicate, but grammatically and structurally speaking, this is not the case. Because if we think this way, then we're going to tend to do this. I'm going to say I like, let's see, apples, okay? So, if we think this way in Spanish, then we think, okay, so we have the subject here, I, then we have the verb, like, and then we have whatever it is that we like is the direct object, because it answers a question, what? ¿Qué me gusta? Las manzanas, okay? What do I like? Apples, okay? Direct object, all right? So when we try to construct that sentence in Spanish, we end up with something like this. Okay, so I, what would be I in Spanish? Yo. What would be like? Let's see, yo, and we go up here, yo. Okay, gusto. The verb gustar for yo is gusto. And then we go to las manzanas. Okay, so we end up with this kind of sentence, which doesn't make sense. Okay, that if somebody, a Spanish speaker, hears you say this, they're going to understand what you're saying, what you're trying to say, but this does not exist, okay? That doesn't exist. So, what is it that we are saying grammatically speaking when we say I like apples, okay? When we say I like apples, what we're saying, the equivalent of I like apples is apples are pleasing to me, okay? All right, or in reality, we put the recipient first. To me, apples are pleasing. Okay, this is exactly what we're saying, grammatically speaking, when we say me gustan las manzanas. Okay, so if we take this, then we're going to be able to construct a sentence that makes more sense in Spanish. Okay, but notice how things have changed here. Okay, we have to me, okay, apples are pleasing. So we have apples, and then we have a verb that agrees with apples, not with the person who is possessing, like it is the case in English, okay? So we have are pleasing is the verb, but the verb agrees with whatever it is that you like, okay? And then we have an indirect object, okay? Because it's the recipient. You say, to whom, okay? To whom, that is the question that you have to answer to find the indirect object. Okay, so see how things have turned around, okay? So the verb has to agree with whatever it is that you like, not with the person who actually likes. So, to me, okay, so we're going to have to go and find the indirect object for yo, So what is the indirect object for yo? Oops, that's not what I want to do. Is me, okay? So we're going to say me. Okay, so then you need to have the verb, because the verb comes right after the indirect object. And what is it that you like? Okay, apples. Okay, las manzanas. So, the verb here has to agree with apples. Okay, so las manzanas, if we want to replace las manzanas with a pronoun, that would be ellas. So what would be gustar for ellas? gustan. Okay, so that's how you end up with gustan. But see, the verb agrees with manzanas. Okay, not with the person who likes them. Okay, now let's say that the person who likes is not yo, but any of the others. Okay, yo, tú. Is it going to change? Él, o ella, o usted, o nosotros, o ellos, ellas, o ustedes. How is this going to change? It's not going to change. So for tú, we're going to say the only thing that's going to change is the indirect object pronoun. Te gustan las manzanas. The verb is going to remain the same because we're talking about the same thing that you like. Okay. And for él, ella, usted is going to be él, ella, usted. What would be the pronoun? Le. But the verb remains the same. Le gustan las manzanas. We're still talking about apples. For nosotros, the pronoun is nos. So, nos gustan las manzanas. Y ellos, ellas y ustedes, the pronoun is les. Okay, so, les gustan las manzanas. The only thing that has changed is the pronoun for who it is that is doing the liking. Okay, te, le, nos, and les. But gustan has remained the same because we're still talking about the subject has not changed. Okay, whatever it is that you like or that the person liked, it hasn't changed. So we're going to say gustan, 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 gustan. Okay, now what if I changed what it is that you like? Let's talk about the city of Dallas. Okay, people either like it or don't like it. So if I say yo, okay, how am I going to say I like it? Okay. Okay, so the pronoun is going to be me. What is it that you like? You like the city, okay? Dallas. Dallas, if we wanted to replace Dallas with a pronoun, Dallas is a city, okay? And ciudad is feminine, so it would be la. Ella, sorry. So, ella. Okay, so let's see. Gustar for ella. Gusta. So you're going to say, me gusta Dallas. Okay. Me gusta Dallas o me gusta la ciudad de Dallas. Okay. The same thing with tú. For tú, it's going to be the same, except that what's going to change is the pronoun. Te gusta la ciudad de Dallas. Okay. The whatever it is that you like, or he or she or they, is the same thing. So the verb is going to remain the same. What's going to change is who likes it. Me, te, or le, or nos, or les. Okay? So basically what you're going to have is gustar. You're either going to like something that is singular, or you're going to like something that is plural. All right? Plural. So if whatever you like is singular, then you're going to say gusta. But if whatever you like is plural, it's going to be gustan. In the third person, okay? Okay, so, how about if I want to say, for example, I like you, okay? That's going to be different. I like you. All right, so I like you. What you're saying here is, to me, you are pleasing. That's what you're saying. So how are we going to form this? So the pronoun for yo is me, okay? Me. And what is it that I like? I like you, okay? So the verb gustar has to agree with tú, okay? So tú gustas. Tú, me gustas tú. Okay, there's a song with that title actually, me gustas tú. Me gustas tú. Or if I want to say you like me. Or how about if we want to ask the questions? Do you like me? Do you like me? What you're going to actually ask is, to you, am I pleasing? Okay. So to you, you. What would be the pronoun for you? Te. Okay. Te. And what is it that is being liked? Yo. Okay, So the verb has to agree with yo. So we're going to go here, and the verb is gusto. Okay? Te gusto yo, and actually you don't need to say yo unless you want to clarify or emphasize. But if you say te gusto, you're asking, do you like me? Te gusto, okay? What about if I want to say they like me, okay? What you're saying here is to them I am pleasing. Okay, so to them, I'm going to go up here. To them, ellos, all right? Ellos, let's see, here, and we have to say a ellos in this case. A ellos, les, you can say a ellos if you want to clarify, but the pronoun is les, right? Les, and what is it that they like? Yo. Okay, so yo, the verb has to agree with yo. Okay, yo les gusto. Oops. Les gusto yo. Okay, les gusto yo. And yo is not necessary either unless you want to clarify or emphasize. Les gusto yo. Okay, les gusto yo. And this is not necessary if you know who you're talking about. Les gusto yo. Okay, how about I like them. Okay, what you're saying is, to me, they are pleasing. So you're going to say me. I need two M's there. Me. And what is it that you're liking? Okay, I like them. Okay, ellos. Okay, so ellos, the verb has to agree with ellos. Okay, me gustan ellos. All right. So see how this, when you understand it that way, it becomes easier to know what to do with gustar, because our tendency when you're an English speaker is to want to translate word by word. So you always you have the tendency to want to conjugate gustar for the person who is liking instead of whatever it is that is liked. Okay, so remember that things turn around when you use the gustar expressions. Okay, so what you're saying is, to me, okay, something or somebody is pleasing or are pleasing, and gustar is going to have to agree with whatever it is that you like, not with the person who is doing the liking. Okay, okay, so I hope that this clarifies more than confuse you. Hopefully. Okay. Okay, this doesn't want to go back. Okay, there we go. So this is in your book, and here we have algunos verbos como gustar, verbs that act the same way. Okay, you use them the same way as gustar. For example, caer bien or caer mal. It's another way of saying that you like or you do not like somebody. Okay, and this is used only for people. You can't say that an object or a place me cae bien or me cae mal. This is used for people. Okay, me cae bien or me cae mal. Okay, Javier likes Pilar a lot. Okay, so a Javier le cae muy bien Pilar. So Pilar is whoever, the person who is being liked. So caer here needs to be conjugated for Pilar, okay? Le cae muy bien Pilar. O to me, me caen mal las personas egoístas. This is plural. This would be ellas. So caer needs to be conjugated for ellas, okay? Me caen mal las personas egoístas. Me caen bien, caer bien o caer mal, okay? Parecer is a little bit more like the English counterpart, and to seem, because you usually say it seems to me, so you understand a little better how that gustar works. It works very similarly in English, okay? Me parece, it seems to me. Me parece. Me parece que José tiene un carácter agresivo. Okay, so with me parece, you usually, what follows after me parece is another sentence. It's a noun clause, okay? Me parece. ¿Qué me parece? And then you have a whole new sentence. Me parece que José tiene un carácter agresivo. Okay, so it's always going to agree with a singular noun, because a noun clause is considered singular. Okay, me parece que José tiene un carácter agresivo. Okay. ¿O qué te parece este tatuaje? In this case, we have just a noun, okay? So, tatuaje singular, okay, would be él, okay? So, ¿qué te parece? Parece needs to agree with él, okay? Muy bien. Interesar, the same thing as gustar. Les interesa la cirugía plástica. What it is that they're interested in is what the verb is going to have to agree with, okay? Me interesa la cirugía plástica, o les interesa la cirugía plástica. Sometimes we have to add this prepositional phrase here, a ellos, okay, or a Javier, because le and les is used for more than one person. It's used for él, or for ella, or for usted, or for ustedes. So sometimes we need to clarify who we're talking about. But we don't need to do that with yo or tú, or what is the other one? Yo or tú or nosotros, okay? Muy bien. Then another one is quedar. Quedar, meaning, let's go down here. Quedar, like to have something left. To have something left. You know, I only have $1 left, or I have 2 more years left until I graduate. Okay, quedar. So, nos queda $1. We, okay, the pronoun would be nos. $1 would be él. So, quedar has to be conjugated according to what it is that you have left. Or in this case, we have a plural here. So, me quedan 2 años. Y faltar, okay, something that you need or that you lack, okay, me faltan $2, okay, $2 is plural, so faltan, or 2 cursos, also plural, me faltan, okay. If you say, I still need a year to finish school, you would say, me falta un año, me falta un año. And here are some other verbs that work exactly the same way as gustar. You have to think in terms of something is pleasing to me, or is interesting to me, or is fascinating to me, or important to me, okay? So encantar, it is more than just like. It's when you say, I love this, or like this, it very much. Fascinar, fascinar. Hacer falta, to need or to be lacking. It would be the same as, sort of the same as faltar, okay? You can say, me hacen falta $2, or me hacen falta los cursos. In this case, the verb is hacer. So here, importar and molestar also work the same way. Molestar is a false cognate. It doesn't mean to molest. It means to bother, okay? So you have some activities in my Spanish lab, and there's one here that it would be interesting. I don't know if, I can't remember if you have this in my Spanish lab or not, but this would be interesting to do, okay, because here you have, por ejemplo, okay, you have the verb that you have to use, sí, caer mal, and then las personas, and then you have, some of them have adjectives that go with them, and so you have the adjectives are in their neutral form, so make sure you make the adjectives agree with the noun that they're describing. Like here, las personas is feminine and plural, so you have to say presumidas. Okay, so there's more than just working with the verbs here. If you have an adjective that describes the noun, you have to make it agree. Okay, and you have who it is that is going to be doing the action and who is receiving the action. And remember that whoever is receiving the action is going to agree with the verb. Okay. Okay, so por ejemplo, a mí, me, okay? What is it that I don't like? Las personas presumidas, okay? So this would be ellas. So the verb caer mal has to agree with ellas. Me caen mal, okay? Me caen mal las personas presumidas. The next one is similar, okay? But gente is considered a singular noun. So gente is it's called a collective noun, but it's singular and it's feminine, so you're gonna have to make the adjective agree, okay, with gente. This is who is doing the action, okay, the verb, And the verb is going to have to agree with gente educada. Okay? Muy bien. And the last thing we have here in this día número dos is, well, you have the activities in My Spanish Lab, and then you have nota cultural. Hay un hispano típico, talking about the fact that you cannot stereotype everybody who speaks Spanish, because there's a great variety of people, physically and with personality traits and cultures. Just the same as we wouldn't want to stereotype someone from the United States and from Canada, England, and Australia just because they all speak English. Okay, so it's interesting to learn some things about culture and take some things into consideration. Here you can click on it and you can hear, there's the audio of this reading, and you can also practice reading it out loud to practice your own pronunciation. Okay, okay, entonces final del día número 2 y vamos a ir al día número 3. Ok, adiós, hasta pronto. Bueno, vamos a continuar con el día número 3 y vamos a estar viendo un poco más de vocabulario en cuanto a algunos estados, to convey personal descriptors, and some of these are things that are just temporary, how you feel at the moment, and some things we can use to describe people, but like amable is, a trait that a person has most of the time, I guess. So with amable, you can say es una persona amable, okay? But with the others, most of the others, we're going to use them with the verb estar because these are temporary states, okay? And things that can change, okay? Muy bien, entonces vamos a ver. Aquí tenemos un aeropuerto y hay personas, okay, con distintos estados, okay? Por ejemplo, a ver, tenemos, vamos a empezar por aquí arriba. Okay, like I said, amable, kind, somebody who's kind. And amable works for females and males. Él es amable y ella es amable. Okay. Enamorado, in love, enamorado o enamorada if it's a girl. Asqueado or asqueada means to feel sick, okay? Asqueado. You say estoy asqueada, okay? Or asqueado. In this case, this person here is asqueado by the cigarette smoke, okay? Like I would be too. Okay, agotado o agotada means exhausted. Agotado o agotada, exhausted. Furioso o furiosa is a cognate, furious. Furioso, furioso. Harto o harta. Harto means to be fed up with something, okay, that you just can't take it anymore. Estoy harta o estoy harto, okay. Avergonzado o avergonzada, okay. Ashamed or embarrassed, or you can also be ashamed. Asustado o asustada, scared or frightened, okay. Okay, muy bien. So, go down here. Más vocabulario aquí. Ok, más estados. Tenemos celoso, jealous, celoso, jealous, o celosa, if it's a girl. Confundido, confused o confundida. Estoy confundido o confundida. Deprimido, deprimido o deprimida. Orgulloso o orgullosa. Okay, so orgulloso can be used with the verb ser or estar, depending on what you want to say. If you want to say that you're proud of something particular at a specific time, you're going to say estoy orgullosa. But if you want to describe a person who is proud all the time, or conceited or something like that, you're going to say es orgullosa o es orgulloso. Sorprendido, surprised, sorprendido. Portarse bien, and you see here the se in the ending of this verb, that means that it's a reflexive verb. Portarse bien o portarse mal, to behave or to misbehave, okay? Yo me porto bien, tú te portas mal, okay? So this has to be used in the reflexive form. ser buena gente o ser mala gente. To be a good person or a bad person, okay? Ser buena gente o ser mala gente, okay? Muy bien, vamos a ir a la próxima página y you have activities here to practice with this new vocabulary. That is, this adds on to the many ways that you describe a person, personality traits, physical traits, and how the person is feeling at the moment. Okay, so do some activities there in my Spanish lab to practice the vocabulary, and we also have a review of el pretérito to speak about past events, things that happened in the past at a specific time in the past. Okay, so we're going to go over here, el pretérito. Okay, so you know to work with the simple tense, okay, and the different endings of the verbs, depending on whether they end in ar, or er, or ir, okay. El pretérito is used to talk about something did or somebody that in the past, okay, that occurred in the past. Okay, so with regular verb, los verbos regulares, okay, for verbs that end in ar, the infinitives that end in ar, these are going to be the endings that all regular verbs are going to interpret, okay. Comprar, okay, for comprar, the ending is going to be e for yo, haste for tú, usted, él, and ella, o nosotros y nosotras compramos, vosotros, vosotras hasteis, ustedes, ellos y ellas haron. Okay? So, compré, compraste, compró, compró, compramos, comprasteis, compraron y compraron. Okay? All right. Muy bien. For er and ir verbs, I guess you can notice that they conjugate the same way in the past. Okay, yo comí, yo viví. Tú comiste, tú viviste. Usted, él y ella comió, vivió. Comió, vivió. Nosotros o nosotras comimos o vivimos. Comisteis, vivisteis. Y ustedes, ellos y ellas comieron, vivieron, comieron y vivieron. Okay? Muy bien. So you have here the section that says explícalo tú, and they ask you questions so that you can reason this concept on your own. Okay. Muy bien. Vamos a continuar. So you're going to do these activities. Let's see. You have one in the previous page. Oh no, this is the. Sorry about that. This is the other book that I'm using right now. So let's go back to your book. Okay, el pretérito. And so here you have activities to use the vocabulary that you just learned, and here you have an activity to practice with reviewing the preterite tense. Okay? Muy bien. So this is the end of day 3, and we're going to go on to day 4. Okay? Muy bien. Bueno, en el día número 4 vamos a hablar del presente perfecto del indicativo. Okay, it's a new verb tense that is used to indicate what someone has done. Okay, just like in English we have a compound verb tense with 2 verbs involved. In Spanish, el presente perfecto del indicativo also has 2 verbs that are involved. Okay. All right, so we use this to refer to what someone has or has not done. For example, I have met the man of my dreams. He conocido al hombre de mis sueños. Or we have decided to get married. Hemos decidido casarnos. In Spanish, the present perfect is not used as much or as often as it is in English. Sometimes we use the simple passive preterite in place of the present perfect. It's used much more in English than it is in Spanish, but it's necessary to know in Spanish because we use it as well. Okay. Okay. So how do we form this verb? It has 2 parts to it. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to use excuse me. We're going to use el presente perfecto del indicativo. We're going to form it with the present form of haber, the present form of haber, and the second part is the past participle past participle of verbs, okay? So haber, here is the present of haber for the different persons. Yo he, tú has, usted, él y ella ha, nosotros hemos, vosotros habéis, ustedes, ellos y ellas han. So this part is what is going to change according to the persons. Okay, it's yo, tú, usted. Okay. The past participle is the second part, and it's always going to be the same for all persons. But we need to know how to form the past participle of verbs. Okay. For verbs that end in ar, like hablar, we are going to take down the ending of the verb ar, and instead of ar, we're going to put ado, okay? And then for like conocer, and ir, like decidir, we're going to take down the ending and ir, and we're going to replace it with ido, okay? So it's going to be either ado or ido, okay? But this part is not going to change with the different persons, okay? So you're going to say, yo he hablado, tú has hablado, usted ha hablado. The second part, the past participle, remains the same for all persons. What is going to change is the haber part, okay? Muy bien, vamos a ir más abajo, vamos a ver algunos ejemplos, ok? Por ejemplo, me he sentido un poco deprimida. Okay, me he sentido un poco deprimida. Okay, if you want to say you have felt depressed, you're going to say tú te has sentido. So what's going to change is has, but sentido is going to remain the same. Okay, nos ha admitido que es un hombre celoso. Okay, ha admitido. Mi madre ha decidido no teñirse el pelo. Tus hermanos han sido muy buena gente. Nuestros sobrinos nunca se han portado muy bien. Y hemos sorprendido a tus padres con las buenas noticias. Okay, so the ado and ido part of the verb, it remains the same with all the different persons, but what changes is the haber verb. Okay, muy bien. Now we have some irregular past participles that are that you need to know, because these are verbs that we use a lot, and they don't follow the ado and ido ending for other verbs. And these are very common verbs if you look at them. Abrir, abrir in the regular way would be abrido, but that's not the case. It's irregular, so it's abierto. Okay. Cubrir is not cubrido, but cubierto. So these are irregular. They don't follow a pattern. Decir is not decido, but dicho. Yo he dicho. Mis padres siempre me han dicho. Okay. Escribir, escrito, not escribido. Te han escrito un email. Hacer, it's not ha sido, but hecho. Has hecho la tarea para hoy. Morir es muerto. Poner, puesto. Resolver, resuelto. Romper es roto. Ver es visto. Y volver es vuelto. Vuelto. Okay, so those are irregular past participles that it's necessary to know, okay, because we use those verbs quite a bit, okay. And finally, the object and reflexive pronouns, me, te, lo, the ones that we have already learned, always come before the forms of haber, okay? Always before haber. No me lo han dicho. So here's the verb, and the pronouns have to come before, okay? Se ha ido, okay? Nos las has traído. Never split present perfect. This tense with two words. Don't ever put anything in between, okay? Like we do sometimes in English, okay? So we put them before the forms of haber, okay? Before the forms of haber, but we never put anything in between the two verbs. See? Okay, muy bien. So do your activities and to practice this verb tense, and we will continue on to día número 5, el último día. Bueno, muy bien, llegamos al día número 5 y en el día número 5 vamos a ver solamente un poco de vocabulario en cuanto a la familia, okay? So we're going to learn to share information about our family, and you already know the basic terms to talk about family. And if you need more vocabulary, you can go to Apéndice 2 in your textbook, and you're going to have the vocabulary that we saw about family in the elemental textbook that we talked about family. Okay, so you have a list of vocabulary there if you want to refresh your memory. ¿Sí? Entonces tenemos la familia, okay, and we're going to look at some more terms to describe family. ¿Sí? Por ejemplo, tenemos los gemelos, the twins, los gemelos, and there is also another term for twins, and it's mellizos. Mellizos. I think gemelos is for identical twins, and mellizos is for just twins. Okay. Okay, mellizos. El marido, it's the same as esposo, el esposo. El marido or el esposo are the same thing, husband. El viudo, the widow or widower. El viudo, a man, el viudo. La viuda, the widow. La viuda y el viudo. La ahijada, that would be oh, I don't know the word in English. Sorry about that. La hijada, let's see, if you have a godmother, what would be the child? The goddaughter? I don't know. La ahijada. That is something that is very common in Hispanic cultures. La ahijada, to have a godmother and a godfather, okay? La ahijada, it would be a girl, okay? And el ahijado is a boy, el ahijado. Y el padrino, okay, the godfather, y la madrina. You know, the movie The Godfather in Spanish is El Padrino. Y la madrina, the godmother and the godfather. So the little babies that they are supposed to help take care of, that's the idea, is la ahijada y el ahijado. And I'm not sure if there's a word for that in English. I had to look it up. Okay, muy bien. Vamos a ir más abajo, and we have other relatives, otros parientes, and remember that the word parientes doesn't mean parents, it means relatives, see? Okay, so we have here the in-laws and the step, relatives. El cuñado is the brother-in-law. El cuñado, brother-in-law, y la cuñada. El cuñado y la cuñada, brother-in-law and sister-in-law. El hermanastro y la hermanastra. Step brother and step sister. Okay. El hermanastro y la hermanastra. El hijastro y la hijastra. Step son and step daughter. Hijastro and hijastra. In the appendix, in the back of your book, appendix 2, you're going to have more terms for stepmother, stepfather, madrastra, padrastro. El hijo único o la hija única, an only child. El hijo único o la hija única. Daughter-in-law, la nuera y el yerno for son-in-law. La nuera y el yerno. La pareja, talk about the couple, or if you want to, some people talk about their partners, so you say mi pareja. And it's used for either males or females, okay? I can say mi pareja se llama Tim, or a guy could say mi pareja se llama, I don't know, Susan. El pariente is a relative, el pariente, relative. El sobrino y la sobrina, nephew and niece. El suegro y la suegra, father-in-law and mother-in-law. El suegro y la suegra, okay? Muy bien, vamos a ir a este lado ahora. Okay. Las etapas de la vida, the stages of life, the different stages. Okay. Well, I guess we should have started with, I guess they go alphabetically, but la niñez, the childhood, la niñez, well, el nacimiento first. El nacimiento, the birth. La niñez, childhood. Then what do we have? La adolescencia. La adolescencia, adolescence. la adolescencia, la juventud, youth. Let's see, la vejez, old age. La jubilación, retirement, y la muerte, death, la muerte. Okay? Okay, so this is just vocabulary for you to practice with. And again, you can go back to your own family and try to connect these terms with real people so that they stay in your memory longer. Okay, and here we have more adjectives and some verbs. Okay, los adjetivos tenemos, por ejemplo, anciano o anciana, an elderly person. We say un anciano o una anciana. Casado o casada, married, casado o casada. Okay. The word anciano, like you have here a note, okay. The words anciano y soltero use the verb ser. Okay, so uno dice es anciano o es soltero. Okay. All the other adjectives use the verb estar. Okay. Divorciado, embarazada, pregnant, doesn't mean embarrassed, okay, it means pregnant. Embarazada, and it's obviously only used in the feminine form. Soltero o soltera, single, it's not married. So those are adjectives, and now we have verb, and we have three that end in se, so we know that those are reflexive. Okay, casarse, to marry or to get married. You can you say me casé o me voy a casar el sábado. Okay, divorciarse, to get divorced or to divorce. Ella se divorció de su esposo. Envejecer, to grow old or to age. Nacer, to be born. Recordar, to remember or to remind somebody. Okay, and when you conjugate recordar in the present tense, the o changes to we. Yo recuerdo. Okay, yo recuerdo. And in the past too. Y separarse, to separate, to get separated. Ellos se separaron. Okay, muy bien. So this is all the vocabulary, and you're going to have activities to reinforce the vocabulary. And like I said, it's always good to connect the new information you learn with something that you already know. And that's how the knowledge stays in your memory. Much better. Okay? Muy bien. So do your activities, and congratulations on finishing up día 5 y semana número 2. Okay? Here is a reading about perfiles, about 3 different people. Y se trata de las familias hispanas, okay? And how they tell you a little bit about the families of these 3 very famous and important people in Latin America, okay? Muy bien, nos vemos la semana que viene. Hasta luego.